200.
The big question is, how does Phil play this? Does he leave the kid up front?
It's a strange line that Phil Hellmuth has taken.
Cool.
And how difficult is it to play Phil Hellmuth?
Well, I've only played him in a couple of tournaments myself. He's a very, very tricky player. He's usually at his most dangerous when he's not talking, and that's what he's doing right now.
Well, the 5 of diamonds changes nothing. I mean, there's no reason to think Tom Dwan... does he think maybe he's up against 9s or 10s?
Yeah, there's a good chance he thinks that he might be losing.
Check.
The underpairs have probably hit. There's only really 7s, 4s and 3s. Hard to make a value bet here, but he might do it almost as a stop bet. Does he think he's going to get a call from Ace King?
Well, the action is over to Hellmuth. And he bets
50,000 into this pot. He's trying to make it look like a bluff with an oversized bet, and a good laydown there from Tom. Trying to be tricky, Phil.
Well, I think Phil maximized the value in this hand. I really do. I mean, I think he got that bet from Dwan on the turn. But Dwan is too good of a player to pay him off. Phil Hellmuth's still down $18,000. But of course, that tricky play, one of the reasons why he has 11 World Series bracelets.
Welcome back to the no-limit high-stakes action that is the Full Tilt Poker.net $1 million cash game from right here in the heart of London. Let's go straight back to your commentators, Gary Jones and David Tuckman.
Mike, what did you steam in 8 more thousand?
Action on Madison.
I don't want to start playing a ring because then the grinders will be too negative.
The dice. I did steam in with it. I know.
Pass.
Because I was mad at myself because I know. I had the best hand in that folder.
Back to Tom Dwan.
You might have had 2 aces with the ace of clubs.
Pass.
Why wouldn't you read it?
Well, let me draw for my 3 for 3.
I call so what was playing it.
Well, Phil looks like he's playing fast and loose, but he's picked up aces followed by kings. He's just flat calling with them this time. I think he feels like playing tricky's the way forward for him.
I chopped the pot. But this is the hand I played.
Phil's flat called on the button. I can't imagine. Well, he's making up the 300, Chris, even with the 7 deuce. I never thought I'd see the day when Chris Ferguson was playing 7 deuce when he didn't absolutely have to.
Well, he's flopping open in this straight draw here.
Check.
And with the 7, it's actually the better side of it as well.
Exactly.
On the flop?
2,500.
3, 5.
Bet from Phil.
He flopped no outs.
2,500 into slightly over 3,000.
Now that's why I love Phil.
Ivy in there with Jack 4 offsuit, obviously not playing the cards, playing his position.
300.
He has the button.
Try and win 300.
And we've almost forgot that Phil Hellmuth is sitting there with kings.
Of course I missed.
Well, I think that's exactly what Phil wants us to do. And he wants everybody at the table to do as well.
Problem with Phil is he's got no idea where he is in this pot right now.
Ace.
Well, he's behind now, if there was any indication there.
Chris catching us straight, see how he plays this.
Check.
How typical. You got the kings and you decide to bet it as soon as the ace comes down.
Well, I think this is kind of a blockish bet. The pot was 10,000, he's betting 3,000 here, right?
Exactly. He's trying to find out whether his kings are still good. Be interesting to see whether he induces a bluff from Phil.
I played Zigman for 30 minutes. I beat him at 32,000.
I mean, part of the reason you make that $3,000 bet is to get a free showdown as well.
Exactly.
Heads up is a little bit more.
And it kind of looks like a blockish bet. And Phil Ivey might take the bait here. And of course, Chris Ferguson doing what he always does, just kind of hiding in the grass and
Easy game.
waiting for the monsters. Well, Phil Ivey's going to think better of it. But I'm sure Chris Ferguson's not going anywhere.
Be careful. There's a
He's got the wheel.
sweet swing. can be painful.
Question is, how does he get some more money off Phil?
Now winning hand, right?
I think that's going to be very difficult. There's 2 flush draws out there.
When you suddenly get.
Well, between the two of these players, we have 2 world champions, 16 World Series of Poker bracelets,
9,000.
and Helmut knows he's dead, doesn't he?
I think that's going to be the end of this pot.
I raise it for flop and I check every flop. The bluffs about. But when it's reversed, when I win what's
I'm really a tournament specialist, and I love tournaments more than cash games, but I think this cash game is going to be really special because we got some of the top players in the world. I think we got 8 of the top players in the world, and they're more lined up to come in if someone goes out. So here, we're playing against the best players in the world, and that's what I live for.
Button is in front
Pass,
of
pass.
Chris Ferguson.
What's that?
Ferguson, by the way, up over $160,000.
2,000. Pass.
Dwan hasn't been quite as lucky. Ferguson, the least active of all 8 players,
Pass.
having a phenomenal $1 million cash game.
Pass.
I
Pass.
don't know why did ever.
The Rock, true to his name, not going to play that one.
Because he sat there.
Yeah. 3,800.
Top pair for Phil Ivey.
And not an awful lot for Tom Dwan.
Every time he lost a
Cold.
He just puts a continuation bet in there, see if he can take it down.
2.
Well, that's an interesting card for Tom. Gives him an up and down straight.
But of course it gives Ivy the flush draw. If a 6 of spades or the ace of spades were to come out, I'm not sure Dwan would see the flush.
Jack Queen, buddy. Why didn't you have the Jack Queen this hand? I just had the Kings this hand, Mike. What do you want? You put in 10,000 with Jack Queen against me. What do you want? I know you're steaming. That was a.
Well, I didn't figure that's fine. He makes a big call on the flop. He knows I got a big hand. I look back and I make a bet. I mean, look for sure I have to have a big ace of club or something. I don't know. It was a bet.
They just beat my Kings too the last hand. You know that?
I'm mad at myself. They didn't beat me. I beat them.
If you raise pre-flop, I fold.
I know, Chris. What do you want me to do? Look, I played my way. You know, and my way's made me a lot of money for a lot of years.
I know it has.
And I mean, if you keep beating 2 Kings with 2 random cards, then you'll do well against me. More often than not, though, you're going to flop a pair and get yourself in trouble.
Yeah, I'm going to get myself in trouble with a pair of deuces. It's a big hand, 3-handed.
Well, you didn't have 9 deuce. You couldn't hit a 9.
Could have hit a 7. Could have hit a 7 deuce. That would have been okay.
You're more likely to make a straight, huh? All right. I know one thing. It didn't have to come a deuce, ace or a 6. If it comes a 6, you win nothing.
Queen deuce 7. Let's go queen deuce 7.
Oh, you can't beat me for much money. I'm in slow play mode. I didn't even raise the flop.
Deal me in. I'm playing great. Wonderful. Folding like $100,000 pots. I just got bluffed for a $100,000 pot.
Oh, babe. You did what?
I can't believe I folded 2 Kings to Ivy.
And Patrick Antonius has stretching his legs as well.
No, half a week.
Meanwhile, Tom Dwan doing a little bluff. And I'm pretty sure that's not going to get through. Phil's been calling all the way to catch this bluff on the river.
$27,800.
And it's a nice size bet there, $27,000. It's about 3/4 of the pot size there.
Yeah, about 3/4 of the pot.
Definitely could be a value bet, of course. Could be a bluff. I mean, could have even made 9-10. Of course, open-ended straight draw flop.
Cool.
That was a nut low.
He's got the nut low, is what he says. The worst hand possible in that spot. That's probably why he felt like he had to bet. He was never going to be able to win a showdown. The truth is, I don't really think there's much value in that bet. The only hand he's really going to get Phil to lay down I think, in that spot is kind of a king 10, and that's about it. I think Phil's probably going to call a jack, he's probably going to call a queen, maybe a 3 he's going to put pass, that's about it.
Well, Tom Dwan, a great player in his own right, but you have to wonder, is he a little bit out of his league trying to pull off bluffs off players like Phil Ivey? And we get a leaderboard here. Tom Dwan down over $300,000. Patrick Antonius, he's down $250,000. Of course, Ivy is on the way up over $70,000 now. But David Benjamin, he is up nearly $200,000 and at the top of our leaderboard. We're at the